I am a very big proponent that the name of your field has to change.
Yeah, you and I both.
Because until you change that, everyone is going to think, I hadn't thought of it until you had said it. Like, they're going to think the doctor gives you a diagnosis that you're in pain, so this person's going to give you some exercises, and that's what a therapist is.
That's exactly right.
I think it's very insightful. And I was saying, well, why don't you become kinesiopathologist? So kinesio, the movement, and pathology. But you have an issue with that because it's saying we only treat it when things have gone wrong.
Correct. And our whole big thing our claim to fame should be prevention.
So be more like a dentist than like the therapist.
And it's a little more complicated than brushing and flossing.
Okay. So you want people to be coming in and checking in?
I think we should be. I mean, the two things are lifespan practitioners. That is like the dental business, and also yearly exams. And if you're going to change activities, or you want to take up a sport, or you want to do something, then you come in and see your physical therapist to make sure it's the right sport, because there are these structural variations that say there are some things you shouldn't do because you're going to get problems with them.
Really? So there are some sports that people just shouldn't play? They're just, sorry, the genetic dice just didn't work out.
The wrong parents, sorry about that. Too late to go back.
What would be an example?
Well, a very real example is, and I've had this, there's a condition of the hip, of the long bone of the thigh, and it's called femoral anteversion. So, and what it means is, like, you've got the long bone of the thigh, and then there's the head and neck that fit into the hip joint. Well, it's supposed to be about 15 degrees rotated forward when it's sitting correctly in the hip joint. But it turns out, and particularly in women, that can be turned a whole lot more forward. So that means that when it's sitting correctly in the hip, you can't turn out very far. You can't rotate your legs out. You cannot be a ballerina.
That was into the ballet, yeah.
You got it. You can't, or even cheerleading. All those things that require extremes of turnout. Now, when you're younger, you'll do it, but it's going to injure your hip in the long haul. You see, so somebody should be monitoring that sort of thing. Yeah, I'm sure you've noticed people that have what we call knock knees.
Yeah.
Well, they shouldn't run marathons because that's going to cause more damage to their knees by being in that alignment. They can run limited amounts, but it'd be better if they cycled and had right adaptations in how they line up their bicycle pedals. So those are just little examples of things that...
So if a parent is sitting out in Manhattan, Kansas, and they say, oh, my son's thinking about playing basketball, running cross country, or doing football, they could go in and see their PT and say, what do you think? Or would they have to go see a certain kind of PT to be able to do that?
Well, in the ideal world, they should be able to see any physical therapist that could give them that advice. Right now, I don't know that they would get it. First, they'd have to go to a doctor to get a referral in many states. Well, actually, a lot of states you can go direct, but insurance won't pay. I think, that's my other big belief, is that people, if they really understood how important this knowledge about movement, about structural variations, about how you play the game, I mean, your sport, because children lack the fundamentals of body control. I mean, I just pick out pictures that are on the internet, and they make me stay up at night because of the configurations that these kids have their bodies in. You can just see this is really a disaster waiting to happen. So if people knew that, they would be willing to pay out of pocket, because it wouldn't be that much to just have an exam and some guidelines on what to do. It would be well worth it. I always say, here the dentist, we go twice a year. We wear braces that cost thousands of dollars, and our teeth barely show. We only use them to speak and eat. You need your body for everything, and we don't do anything to make sure it's operating optimally. It makes no sense.